The air inside Kenya's parliament buildings was thick with sorrow and reverence as the body of Raila Amolo Odinga, former prime minister and opposition leader, lay in state. It was a moment that brought the nation to a standstill, a final farewell to a man who had dedicated his life to democracy, justice, and unity. The ceremony began with multi-faith prayers, reflecting Odinga's belief in unity beyond religion and tribe. Christian, Muslim, and traditional leaders each offered words of peace, while a choir softly sang, "Tawala Kenya Tawala," and "It is well with my soul." The Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, led Parliament in observing a minute of silence before delivering an emotional tribute. Raila Odinga stood for truth, for freedom, and for Kenya's soul. Today, we honor a man whose spirit will never die. As the mourning went on, national leaders, including President William Ruto, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and opposition leaders, walked quietly past the casket, pausing briefly to bow their heads. No speeches were made. The silence spoke volumes. As dusk approached, soft lights illuminated the casket. Choirs from Nairobi churches and Luo traditional groups took turns singing farewell songs in English, Swahili, and Daluo. Odinga's family, led by Ida Odinga and his children Winnie, Rosemary, and Raila Jr., arrived quietly in the evening to pay their respects. They stood together, holding hands, as the choir sang, "Abide with me." Tears flowed freely as they placed roses on the casket, whispering prayers in his honor. The KDF Honor Guard maintained their solemn vigil, changing shifts every 30 minutes. Each salute, each step, each drumbeat carried the weight of a nation's grief. For many, the sight of Raila Odinga lying in state marked not just the passing of a leader, but the end of a political era. He had fought for freedom during dictatorship, endured detention, and remained steadfast in his dream of a just and united Kenya. As one mourner whispered while leaving Parliament, "He gave his life for us, for Kenya. Today, Kenya gives him the honor he deserves." Raila Odinga's farewell inside Parliament was not merely a ceremony. It was a symbol, a final act of gratitude from a nation that will forever remember his courage, his sacrifice, and his unyielding love for Kenya, the symbols of a statesman's farewell. Every element of the ceremony inside Parliament carried deep meaning, carefully chosen to honor Raila Odinga's lifelong service to the nation he helped shape. The flag-draped casket. The Kenyan flag covering Raila Odinga's casket symbolized his unbreakable bond with the nation, the black representing the people for whom he fought, the red for the struggles and sacrifices endured in the quest for justice, and the green for the prosperity he envisioned for Kenya. The white stripes, standing for peace, reflected his final message to a nation he urged to remain united beyond politics. As the flag was folded later with military precision, it was handed to his wife, Mama Ida Odinga, a gesture signifying the country's gratitude and respect for the family's sacrifices throughout his decades in public life. The national anthem. When the Kenya national anthem echoed through Parliament Hall, it was not just a song, it was a prayer. The anthem, played twice during the ceremony, symbolized the spirit of unity Raila had always championed. Mourners rose to their feet, many with tears in their eyes, singing softly the words, "Justice be our shield and defender." It was a fitting reminder of the values he lived and died defending.